Welcome back to Emmy. I'm Fletcher, and this is my review for Thor: Love and Thunder, written and directed by Taika Waititi, starring Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman, Christian Bale, Tessa Thompson, and honestly, just a slew of other people. It's almost an innumerable amount of notable people in this film, and it's not like they get big roles, but it's interesting and fun to see them pop up. I'll give you a quick synopsis if you don't know or have no idea what the film's like. Thor enlists the help of Valkyrie, Korg, and his ex-girlfriend Jane Foster to fight Gorr, the God Butcher, who intends to make the gods extinct. Christian Bale plays Gorr the God Butcher, and easily one of the most interesting aspects of this entire film. I don't know what it is about the way Bale acts, but he just seems to buries himself into his roles. Gorr in the comics, he doesn't look anything like that. Yeah, he's a bit more of a Voldemort look. But that being said, it would have been really cool to see him maybe like that, but I actually like that I get to see his full performance as himself. But, I mean, if we did do that, we would have got something a bit similar to Bill Nighy's Davy Jones from the Pirates movie. Do you remember him with the pipe and the popping and the mouth with that thing? It was very cool, especially from a visual effects point of view. But anyway, so massive shoes to fill considering how popular Ragnarok really was. And here we are, this next installment. Yeah, I feel a bit cheated because Endgame really set up this idea of the Asgardians of the Galaxy. Like this idea that we were going to see Thor and the Guardians together in capers, and considering their rapport and their chemistry in the tiny scenes in Infinity War, which are so memorable, I was like, oh, a whole movie of that would be amazing. And yeah, I don't think this is a spoiler, but I would like to temper people's expectations, is that the Guardians are barely in the movie. That being said, even though they're not involved, I kind of just adjusted. As soon as I saw them phasing out, I went back into it. But again, even while they're in the movie at the very beginning, the film itself is already setting the tone of absolute silliness. It's very silly, and it's fun in that way. And people think this is a problem, like the Taika. There's too much Taika in the movie. It's just too ridiculous and silly, and the jokes are just too much. And we just came from a huge arc where the stakes were so high that no one can really fathom how high those stakes were. And the stakes will probably get higher, but why not at this point, at the very beginning, before these things take traction, where villains get established and motives get revealed? Why can't we just have a bit of fun? Just have a laugh, you know? If you're going to look at these films like serialized storytelling, not every episode has to be insanely amazing or needs to be that serious. And when you take the concept of gods, especially when you're talking about the North or the Greek or the Roman pantheon or any of them, they're quite ridiculous. Just the idea of them is just ridiculous. It's the god of carpentry, Jesus, I guess, or just gods for really strange modern human things. The idea of gods is so ridiculous, especially the anthropomorphized version of them. It's very silly. So why not trivialize them? Why not trivialize them in a film like a Marvel film? And I like that. The comedy from all of the actors is great. I think my favorite thing about the film is that it's so casual. Some of those actors are just not people I see in very casual movies where they have very relaxed roles where they get to kind of be themselves, I guess. One thing is that Gorr, even though being a homicidal alien with a sword, he has an English accent. He has actually got Christian Bale's accent, which is nice because I don't really ever hear him use it in any film. So it's quite cool to see that, and it seemed like he was more relaxed. A lot of the rapport, a lot of the comedy, especially the way they deal with exposition and stuff like that, it's dealt with a way where the comedy tries to accentuate how boring these kind of plot necessities are. And when this happens, it's delightful. It's just silly and fun. And sometimes you even forget that right now you're actually digesting exposition. All of the actors are fantastic. Even the little side actors that appear. The visual effects obviously are mind-boggling. I don't think there was a moment where I was taken out of the movie by some of the most ridiculous imagery that you see. I do think it is a bit weird the way that we objectify Chris Hemsworth. Like, the things that we do to him now are not exactly fair. I think he's the kind of person who's he's made remarks that being the hot guy in the film is incredibly boring to him. I mean, he's been branded with that his entire life. He was absolutely delighted to be the fat Thor in Endgame. In their ultimate movie, in the final movie, they chose to make Thor fat and broken and depressed and suffering severe PTSD, and that's awesome. That's great, but it's weird. I just think it's weird. I keep flipping the gender of what happens with people, and a lot of the time it's just not cool. Like, making someone naked just to look at their body apparently isn't cool. Russell Crowe made me giggle. Absolutely silly. Some of the silliest moments are all dealt with Russell Crowe and his performances. Like, they've definitely taken a lot of things from the Jason Aaron run of The Mighty Thor and Thor God of Thunder. It's such a convoluted story. The way that it goes down, the things that Gore does and plans to do. I actually prefer this. I prefer, like, in film form, this is very appropriate. It basically has very similar beats. The only thing I dislike about the film is it's essentially just too short. There was a moment in the movie where I saw something happening and I was like, oh, we're already in the final act. Oh my god, this is gonna end. I don't want this to end yet. And it's weird. It's a weird feeling where you're in a movie experience, you're enjoying yourself, and then you realize that you literally will be leaving in 20 minutes, and there's really nothing else going to be coming. So clearly there was expectations from me of things that I was going to see or things that were going to happen, or whatever. But really, I think that what is upsetting me is that I really wanted to see a whole, almost an entire act dedicated, or just 30 to 40 minutes extra dedicated to the build-up of Gore and the Mighty Thor, Jane Foster, because those characters were great. I would like to see more of Christian Bale. I'd like to see more of Natalie Portman. Natalie Portman was amazing in this. I loved the Mighty Thor run. The Mighty Thor comic is awesome. Her character is amazing. She's far more interesting than Thor is, really, because she's a human with human problems and is struggling with mortality. But even so, in the film, really funny, really fantastic, dynamic, and more entertaining than I've seen her in most films that she's been in. Is it a good movie? I think it is. Is it a well-made movie? I think it is, even though I've even heard Taika Waititi say in interviews, like admitting that he had made proper mistakes, certain things being in shot that weren't there before, or context of something being off. But films are pretty imperfect pieces of art. I mean, they're often very tricky to be consistent. Continuity is incredibly hard to maintain. It's a great experience. I really enjoyed it. I think the only difference is that it is really a family film. This is ultimately about love, about what we love and what we value, and those ultimately are family and friends and our partners, and that this whole film is really centered around those components in the way that we value things. It's a critical hit for sure. Definitely go see it. Have fun. I mean, it's a Marvel movie. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Taika, you crazy guy. Anyway, thank you very much for watching my review. Thanks for the likes. Love to the subs. And I'll see you guys next time.